Hello, and welcome to the Classic Land Cruisers podcast. I'm Dan, your host. You can find me on Instagram at FJ40_UMA_Smurf or on I Hate Mud at Mountain Biker. You can find the podcast on Instagram by searching Classic Land Cruisers. Remember to go to reefmonkey.com to get your Classic Land Cruiser podcast merch. Bring your adventure home with inlowgear.com, your source for custom Land Cruiser apparel and merchandise, where adventure becomes art, designed for the road. This episode was brought to you in part by Redline Land Cruisers, Save Your F, by Manafree, your one-stop shop for Land Cruiser parts and service, by Valley Hybrids and Terrain Tamer North America. Okay, welcome back to this episode of the Classic Land Cruisers podcast. I'm back in the recording studio after a couple of months of not being able to be in it. So it feels great. It feels hot. It feels awesome. So with me today is Joe and Rachelle Bovee. And they've been on the podcast before on my SEMA Mad Dash Scramble episode. And also my SEMA Nights episode at Manafree. You guys are there.
Yeah.
But you guys have done some stuff. You guys have had some stuff going on in the last year and a half since I talked to you last. So tell us what's been going on with your 80 series.
Oh, man.
So since we saw you in Vegas, we've added some things to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we've had some additional things. What I can't think of, that's for you.
Yep. Actually, since Vegas, okay. For Vegas was kind of a blur because of the time frame we had to get the Land Cruiser ready. When we found out that it would be going there, and we had some awesome guys help us out to make that happen. And so post Vegas was really buttoning up a lot of stuff and getting it ready to rally. And there's a difference because even between getting a vehicle ready to off-road, on a regular basis, you have, if you go and wheel, you can do a torque and tighten beforehand and check all your stuff and you're going to be good. But getting it ready to Rebelle is a whole different ball game. Everything gets locked tight. Everything gets double and triple checked. You're making sure you have extra spares, and it's just going to get, absolutely throttled for a week plus.
Yeah.
And so really most Vegas was just getting it buttoned up and ready for abuse.
Yeah.
As best as you can for.
Yeah. And so if I'm right, you and your sister are part of Team Roaming Wolves, correct?
Correct.
And
yep.
Up until last year, you guys have been in your dad's Bronco, but this year you were in the 80 series.
Yes,
so
we kept going back and forth on that too.
Why did you choose to change vehicles?
It was a really hard decision. And like I said, we kept going back and forth because we love the Bronco so much. But we call her Cranky Bee because she's giving us so many problems. Stupid things that we would never planned for, like a broken transmission mount bolt, like stupid things that eat up time. And so so after 4 years, we're like, okay, what should we take? We decided let's do the Land Cruiser. It's newer to our family, but let's go just have a different experience. Air conditioning, 4x4 button instead of, getting out and locking the hubs every time, just things like that. We're like, let's try it. So we were still the oldest vehicle in the rally again, but, we had more modern, creature comforts and conveniences this time around.
Yeah.
Being able
so
to go
was
through the
nice.
desert with the windows up.
Yeah. Air conditioning was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we when we finally made the decision, we are like, okay, all in, let's go and let's make it happen and see what we need to do. It was mostly ready though.
Yeah. We had, getting with the build, making sure that we had recovery points for it front and rear, and that we were able to securely do the spare tire, right? That was a big deal. Ben and the guys from Descent helped us out with the front bumper, which just was amazing, made life so much easier. Clean install, getting the winch and everything done, and the front was ready. We ended up, Anthony from Belt Fab, we were able to get a spare tire in there for the rally, and that's one of those things like, okay, where do I put the spare? Where it's got to be easily accessible for vertically challenged people, to be able to get to easily. And so those were a couple big pieces, making sure that they were dialed, and then putting on factory recovery points on the rear. And it was a lot of fun actually getting it ready for the rally.
Yeah. So how did you guys feel in the moments leading up to Rebelle?
This year was way less stressful. I feel like every year with the Bronco, we were changing and doing so many things, and it was up till the night of wee hours before we leave that you're stressed and doing things, and this one was way less stressful.
It was a ton less stressful. One of the things that was really fun to be able to do to prep for the rally. So part of our build, we were able to work with Super Pro Australia, and we have some of their Fulcrum F4R shocks on there, and so playing with the dampening and rebounding and everything with the shocks was great, and trying to find that happy spot for her to go through the desert with was a lot of fun. And then also trying to accommodate how to fit everything in the Land Cruiser, because there's a fair amount of gear that has to go into for the rally, because one of the things, there's no support teams, right, working out there with them. All the stuff they take for self camp, all the amenities of being gone for a couple weeks goes in the Land Cruiser, and that's where it has to stay. So it was a unique challenge for sure.
Yeah. So,
but it worked out well. I never felt like we didn't have space.
Yeah.
Everything fit well, and we had the boxes up on top. So,
yeah. So in talking with you guys, and also listening to your appearance on the Anderson Overland podcast, I know a fair bit about the Rebelle rally. That other people might not. So, what is the Rebelle rally?
The Rebelle rally is. Go ahead.
The Rebelle rally is really fascinating, I must say. So, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the longest off-road navigational road rally in the United States. It happens to be for women only. It usually stretches, it changes here and there, but it usually stretches from like Tahoe or Mammoth area all the way down to Glamis at the border of Mexico. And so we're just zigzagging California, Nevada, and through the mountains and mostly desert, trying to find checkpoints. Every day you have like 20 to 30 checkpoints that you're given, and you are only using a map and compass and road books. And so you're just trying to get as many points as you can and find your way and not get lost and not break down. Proves difficult for my team, but
Yeah,
so yeah, it's like a 10-day event, 8 days of competition.
Yeah.
So what I really love about that competition is it's not only the longest in time, also distance for a navigational rally in North America, is my understanding.
Yeah, it's just goes forever.
Yep, and ever, because when you're at home and all you could do is track them on the app to find out how they're doing and competing, it's I didn't have gray hair before she started doing the rally. This was all from the rally. Yeah.
So yeah, like on the rally, we don't have GPS, your phones, any other devices are locked up and, checked daily to make sure you haven't accessed them. So yeah, you're just paper map and compass and navigating, trying to get points.
So I kind of made the podcaster's jinx last week. And normally if I tell somebody that I'm really excited about having a particular guest on, 9 times out of 10, something happens where I can't talk to that guest at that time. Well, I was my mom about the Rebelle rally, how it's just for women and no GPS, no phone, no nothing. And that was like on Monday night or Sunday night. And she's like, oh, I'll have to listen to it this week. And my mom's response to that was, I can get around with the GPS in my car on the streets, but not in the mountains or anything else. So she was really kind of impressed by that you have to use paper maps and find all the different waypoints and everything else. And then last week, Joe, I think you were working late, and so it couldn't work out that we talked last week, and so we're doing it this week. So the first couple of days were good for you, Rachelle.
Not even many days. It was day one. We did a prologue day where you're just practicing, and that was getting us from Mammoth to Blair Junction, I think, Nevada. So that went fine, and then it was like midday on day one, the first day of competition, that we started losing gears in the hills, and I was just like, okay, I'm pretty sure I don't have third gear anymore, and then we'd be, going through the hills, and it just started getting worse. It just started slipping with second and first, and having so much experience on needing to call mechanics and be trailered and like knowing when we have to be trailered. We were looking at our maps and we're like, okay, where are we? Where are major like highways in comparison to where we are in the middle of these hills?
Yeah.
And so we planned. So we went a little bit farther. I was like, okay, let's try and get to this point, first gear or whatever gear we have, and then pull over and call, and then you wait a couple hours. And
okay, one of the things I think it's important to put in, because I got a lot of flack every time Cranky would break down. One year in the Bronco, she lost a rear wheel bearing, and someone had mentioned, oh, that's a maintenance issue. It's like those were brand new Timken wheel bearings that went on, into it. And I mean, all these things, the weird failures. And with Ron, the 80 series, Ron Burgundy. Yep. It was like, okay, we know the things we've had. Full service, all the fluids, a couple thousand miles before the rally, we had just done a service. Check the filter, no contamination, no inclination there were any issues with that A440 transmission. It was just one of those like, oh, you're kidding, the transmission went out. No, that's not possible. Yeah. What? It was one of those things.
Yeah.
It was her time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that because it's in a rally environment, you're pushing it a lot harder, and so stuff is bound to wear out easier in an off-road rally situation like that. And so that's understandable that would happen. But what happened next, I mean, I was glued to Instagram and Facebook for the next 3 days because what happened next was truly incredible. And I think it goes to show the caliber of Land Cruiser owners. But somebody just put out a feeler saying, hey, we need this transmission for this particular 80 series. And oh my goodness, it was just, my phone was blowing up from notifications from, hey, do you know anybody who might have a transmission in this area? Do you know anybody that might have a transmission? And like, I started reaching out, and I know your good friend Lee Lim, he's reaching out, and he found a transmission, and he even went and drove down and picked it up, but it was like the wrong transmission at the time, and then he found another one, and I was just like, that was better than any TV I could watch. I was like glued to your situation. How much time did you lose with the transmission being down?
So it was like midday on day one that it went down. We were in mechanics all night. They were pulling that one out. And so originally there was one coming from Vegas. They sourced one in Vegas first. So yeah, we're in mechanics.
Oh,
you're right. Oh yeah. So we were in mechanics, like the whole night waiting for the first transmission that turned out to be an incorrect transmission. But originally one came from Vegas that friend Sean had driven in, and it didn't work out. So yeah, that's when all the other sourcing kept going. And then it was day two of competition. Still didn't have anything. We were just, all of the competitors were out competing, and my sister Melissa and I were just like literally kicking rocks in the desert, walking around base camp. Like that's all we could do. Hanging out and waiting. So we lost all of day two, and then they decided, I think at that time they knew one was coming, I think.
yeah.
So staff drove us. The competitors were going into a marathon stage, which is you're going to leave the main base camp and you're going to go do a day of competition. Then you're going to sleep, set up camp again where it's not really base camp, just self camp. And then wake up the next morning and go to another day. And then you'll come back to the main base camp. So anyways, it was a marathon stage. So they drove us out to the marathon night location, which was Belmont, Nevada. And we set up camp, and we just out of the loop. Like, we have no idea what's going on. If anything's happening, we'll have a car the next day. We have no clue. So we camped the night with our friends, and we're up the next morning. We're packing at camp because either Toyota's going to be there or staff is going to pick us up and take us somewhere else. So it was really early in the morning. Everyone's packing up, and I see the Toyota pulling into camp, and we're just like freaking out, like, oh my God, the Toyota is there, it's driving, we get to compete. So we lost about a day and a half of competition, but that's amazing for freaking transmission. We thought we were done. We're like, well, the transmission's dead. It's day one. There's our rally. Done. Even though I know Nick and the mechanics crew work miracles and can do anything, I was just like, yeah, transmission. But they proved us wrong, and the community proved us wrong, and we're so thankful we got to continue on and do days 3 to 8 and keep going. It was amazing.
So, where did you finish?
We finished at in Needles, California, at Pirates Cove RV Resort, which that was that was bougie. Like we were spoiled, like to have a location that's riverfront and cooler, has amenities because usually it's just desert or glamming. So I got to have the end of the rally gala there. Yeah.
One of the things that was really exciting to see is how, one, the Land Cruiser community, how it came together. And I mean, people were blowing up our Instagram. I might have one here, I might have one there. It was amazing. And the guys that made it happen was
So one of the legs of getting the transmission to the base camp was actually a co-competitor, Lisa DeLuca's husband, Nick. He did one of the legs. I think it was San Francisco to Reno. I think was that his leg.
was it Adam and Lee, and then handed it off, but
So yeah, like multiple people came together.
just superstar. And what was exciting too, Dan, was after they were down for a day and a half of how they responded, and then just picked up and went after all the checkpoints. And even though they had an unknown transmission, did pretty good capturing some blacks, and they didn't finish last, which was awesome.
I feel like that's amazing that we didn't finish last.
Yeah,
Almost last.
did after losing a full day. Outside looking, super proud of them. That was pretty awesome.
What? To me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachelle, I feel bad.
I'll say, we've had, things break every year, some years better than others, but we're going through the adventure, we're going to finish. We aren't, like top teams or anything, but it's part of our rally. It's been part of our rally, breaking down or being different from others just because we're older. But we have so many stories from our breakdowns, like amazing stories, and we have such great relationships with the staff and all of these things. So like we get it's just an amazing adventure, even if we break down. Like
I mean, just from that too, with Lee helping with solve function, that's turned into he's just a super dude, right? And now we're doing stuff with him with our own business with Oregon Overland, and it's awesome, right? How the community kind of came together and how we built those relationships. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yesterday. Just
Get a widow wide up for your TRD Pro.
need some widow recovery boards.
Oh yeah, you do.
they're supposed to be teach understand.
There we go.
So, what is the plan for Rebelle this year? Are you going to do Rebelle
We
this
are
year?
not doing the Nope, not
Okay.
doing it this year. Nope. Yeah, it just doesn't work out for this year. cost, like financially and time, and it just so happens that every Rebelle is on my son's birthday. So
Man.
I've missed a handful. Um, so yeah, just not doing it this year. It's really hard to not do it though. It's especially looking when I was sending all the photos to you, it's just you you just get nostalgic for it and all the
And
memories.
and those were some great pictures. Um, Now if I do a calendar again next year, last year I did a calendar just to kind of say, hey, look, I did a calendar. Look what I can do. Look at the guests that I've had. And then I was like, I kept getting pictures from other people, and they're like, oh, this would be a good one in the calendar. This one would be a good one in the calendar. And some of the pictures that you sent, I was like, you know what? If I do another calendar again next year, that might be in the calendar. So some of them were like really, really good pictures. So I have a whole list of questions that I like to ask. Um, but I found this game on Instagram called Radio Chatter. But it's a deck of cards, and there's just different questions, and I want to play this game with you guys. So pick out any card out of the deck of cards.
All right.
So what
Like
card
a
are you
number?
choosing? Yeah.
Are they like a plain deck of cards?
Yeah, it's like a plain deck of cards. So there's
Oh, okay. Now, okay, that is clear this time.
Okay. Four of spades.
four
Really?
of
I don't
spades.
know.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
First one that came to
that's a
mind.
good question. It's a good question, and it's one that I actually don't have, because a lot of the questions that I have are in my little notebook of questions. But the question is, what is your ideal campsite?
Ooh.
Oh. Away from people.
Yeah.
Away from people and like with a really good view of either like dark sky or at least good sunsets.
Yeah. Same. One of our favorite things to do is, I say we, it's really Shelly, but she'll find a spot on Gaia and let's go check this out. And that's how we found a lot of the best campsites, where we'll just be driving in and then we'll tag it and be like, oh, we need to camp here. Because it's either got just an amazing sky view or just an awesome, panoramic spot. And we're super lucky being down here in Southern Oregon right now, kind of exploring. We've only been down here a few years. So exploring new national forests and places has been a lot of fun. Yeah. So isolated with a great view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, like my ideal campsite would probably be in the mountains with pine trees and like a river or a stream or creek real close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago, we were on, because my wife's a teacher, and when she gets done teaching at the end of the year, she's like, I need decompression. I just want to go put my toes in the sand and look at the ocean. And so we went to San Diego like we do every year, and I was just like, you know what? San Diego's nice, but yeah, give me mountains over the beach any day.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather go to the mountains than go to the beach. But the beach is fun. I mean, we go boogie boarding and whatnot, but then
Nothing wrong with a little sand.
yeah. But the problem is the sand just gets everywhere. I feel like Anakin on.
We actually went up a couple weeks ago. We had a spot that we had found last fall.
Yeah.
And went and we had a friend come down and we went and camped. And we were the first one. And it was a pretty good trail. Ended up being a really good trail, and it was so overgrown. Ron got some really good new pinstripes. And one of the things I keep talking about wanting to do for the 80 is do limb risers, right? And it's one of those things I keep talking about it because every time we go through the trails down here, just those limbs come through and you can't see anything. They're just bashing the windshield, scratching everything up, and it's a good time.
The manzanita trees do not give. They are not flexible.
No cares. No cares. Nails on chalkboard, just
Yeah. And that's kind of why I did the Monster Liner bed liner paint on my 40.
Nice.
Because I live in Southern Arizona, and everything in Southern Arizona is trying to kill you, one way, shape, or form. If the temperature's not trying to kill you, the plants and animals are trying to kill you. And so you go down a trail, you get these like, and it's not even like shallow pinstripes, it's deep pinstripes. There's like, oh man, that's like all of my paint coming off. But the nice thing about this bed liner is I can take a wet rag and wipe it down and the pinstripes disappear. So, and everyone's like, well, why did you do bed liner? Why did you do bed liner? I'm like, because that's why. Because I didn't want it to be so scratched, and if I was going to be spending all this money, I didn't want to have to worry about a paint job and going off road. I'd rather just go off road. I can understand how like the manzanitas and everything you give Ron a whole bunch of pinstriping.
That was a good card, Dan. You got another one?
One of your... What's that?
So that was a great card she chose. You got another one?
Oh, you want to? We can do another one, Joe. I'll let you pick out one this time.
Six of clubs.
Six of clubs. All right. What other hobbies, activities have you incorporated into your travels? Wait, is it? Yeah, right here.
What hobbies and activities have you incorporated into your travels?
Oh, that's it.
I always incorporate photography.
Yeah.
What
nice.
else? What do you?
Depending on the location, especially if we take the kids, depending on the location, we do geocaching.
Oh,
that's kind of fun.
I love to go geocaching. I go when Uma's up and running. I take her to go geocaching quite a bit. I always like saying that I'm using multi-billion-dollar satellites to find a Tupperware container.
Accurate. Yeah.
With Taco Bell sauce in it.
With Taco Bell sauce.
We found one that was just Taco Bell sauce.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
So,
although lately, the new thing with the kids, I will say, it's been kind of unnerving. They're into whittling, right? They've got their pocket knives now, and they're whittling around camp, and that's kind of all they want to do now.
My son did Cub Scouts for a couple of years, and like his second year in, he got a whittling chip, so he could carry a knife and everything. And I don't know what he was cutting up, but he was using his knife to cut up something on the bathroom sink in the kids' bathroom, and so it ended up like cutting up the sink or the counter of the bathroom, and so I had to take his whittling tip away. But now that he's 17, he's got more knives than I do, and it's like look at this new knife I got. How many knives do you have? But there could be worse stuff for him to collect, I guess. So it's knives I'm not too upset about. So, like, what's been one of your favorite or your fondest memories that you've had in your Land Cruiser? Could be Rebelle. It could be just going out with the family.
We should answer separately on that one.
Okay. You first.
Me first? So my fondest memory is a twofer. One is when Shelly said I should go get it. After and then we were up in Southwest Washington, home for Thanksgiving, and my fondest memory so far was taking that opportunity and road tripping at home to Southern Oregon with my son, my oldest son.
After you bought it.
After we bought it, and just like, oh man, I'm in a Land Cruiser again. It was awesome, and just being able to share that with him and then talk about all the things we wanted to do and getting him excited about it was a great trip. Yeah, that was a core memory for sure.
Mine is probably going to be last year. Oh, okay. I have two. I also have two. Cheating. One would be when we did, my sister and I did training in Central Oregon last year before the rally. We did it with a bunch of our Rebelle friends, and we all got together and we were just out exploring all these things that even living here I have never seen before. We went to all these landmarks. So that was a lot of fun. But the other one that I just thought of, did I lose it already? I'm so old. I'm already lost my other memory.
You're becoming...
Oh, no. I remember. It was when Joe and I took it out to go explore some, mountains nearby.
Yep.
It was before we did any work to it, and we were just going out to, find a peninsula or something to film it on and take pictures of it before any work had been done. And we had, it was being logged, the area was being logged, and there was a man, and we stopped and chatted with him, made sure that we were cleared, to go farther down the road. And so we're just chatting with him for a little bit, and he was telling us, beware of the naked miner Perry. And we're like, what? And he's like, there's a guy who has some some claims up here, and he comes and checks on them, and he's naked. And so we're like, okay. And so we find a place to go take photos in this kind of clearing, and we see like a side by side coming down the road, and he pulls into where we're at. And he's like, you guys shooting up here? And we're like, no.
We actually showed him we had picked up a bunch of,
picking up a bunch of garbage on the peninsula while we were there. And he was like, no, we're actually picking up garbage and, just taking pictures. And he's like, all right. He's like, I've got a claim up here. And he became nice after that. But it was Perry, but he was clothed.
Yeah. Never had anybody warn us about a naked miner before. Yeah.
But we met him, and
nice guy.
Yeah. And he sent us away with some
agates.
Yeah, agates for our kids to open up. So
yeah, that was fun.
That's a fun memory.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So is there anything else that needs to happen to Ron? Or anything else that's gonna happen to Ron, like build wise, or
yeah, rear bumper. That needs to happen so bad.
Yeah. The Ron, actually, overall, Ron's doing pretty good. Even post rally, we do have to do some exhaust work. Some exhaust got smacked around a little bit, so we got a little rattling there. We fixed it and welded some stuff up, but we're gonna have to redo the exhaust. And one of the things, Ron's a 91, right? So 3FE power all day long. Actually runs really, really well, but power would be a little more power would be nice. So we haven't completely ruled out an engine swap.
Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Rachelle,
that was a hard trip to go.
It was priceless. The look on your face was priceless. Like
I put a lot of thought into it, Dan.
I'm just like, yeah, someday.
Tuesday?
Dreams.
Yeah.
Big dreams. It was really hard to go from the Bronco to the Land Cruiser.
The Bronco has a fair more power. Okay, I built both. The Bronco has a little more power, right? But that 3FE is incredibly dependable now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy moly. What else? Gotta think.
So here's another question for both of you, to be individually or separately also again. And this is one of my most favorite questions that I ask people now. But you could have anybody riding shotgun with you for a trail run. Who would it be? It could be historical, it could be fictional, it could be current. It's your dream ride with whoever you would have on the riding path or shotgun in the passengers.
Oh, that's a great question. Ooh. You first.
It would be
No.
it would be my dad in either vehicle, in the Land Cruiser or the Bronco. Because I mean, obviously, when he passed away, none of these vehicles were in our family. We weren't necessarily doing these things. But yeah, take him out riding shotgun. That'd be pretty awesome.
No, we're sticking with that answer. It was a great answer.
You can have your own person.
Oh, that's a good answer. Got me all, yeah. Yeah, that was a good answer.
You know, it's amazing. I'm going to piggyback off of myself. That how many people give that answer, and I've had one person say that they want to have Teddy Roosevelt and just go on a national parks tour, and I'm like, okay, that's really cool, but every time somebody says their dad, it's always like, yeah, that almost seems it's an obvious choice, but it's such a great choice. And I'm fortunate enough that my dad is still living, and he and I are going to Solid Axle Summit in August in Colorado.
Nice.
And so I'm using it as a bucket list experience. Hey, I get to go spend just a week with my dad in the mountains in a Land Cruiser, and my dad was like, you know what? We had so much fun with your son down in Mexico on the side-by-sides. I want him to come too. I'm like, well, that's like his second week of school. And he's like, if he can come, I would love for him to come. And I'm like, you know what? He can catch up in school, but he can never catch up that memory with dad and grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
that's huge.
You're getting a week out of school for free. So, and he's going to be a senior this year, and so he also gets to go. He's been in the auto club at his high school for his whole time in high school, so he's going to go to SEMA again this year. So I'm going to be back up there. I've already talked to Manfred. I'm like, hey, I'm actually going to be able to be at SEMA nights this year again. So
nice.
Very nice.
That's exciting.
So Joe, who would ride shotgun with you?
Oh, I don't even know. You know, I can't, every time I'm okay. The great thing about the 80 and the Land Cruiser is it gives me what I've always wanted, and that's the ability to take my whole family off-road together, right? And so, with 4 kids and the jump seats, I got that, right? And so that's kind of what I've always wanted with all our different vehicles and builds. I've always wanted just to be able to have my whole family to be able to go do that and experience it. So I kind of got what I've always kind of wanted with that, with the 80, and it lets me fulfill that, right? So,
Which kid is in the front seat? Are
ooh,
you putting me in the back?
no, you're riding shotgun. Yeah, Shelly's riding shotgun. Yeah,
Tell you where to go,
yeah.
how to drive.
No, I mean, really, that you asked that question, I'm like, oh man, there's all these racers. It's like, man, I don't know. I kind of want to, while my kids are able to do it, I just want to keep them in as long as I can, right? To hopefully, capture some of those core memories for them. I'm throwing them in the car.
You hear that, kids? Okay, we're keeping you.
So, Shelly, when you're riding shotgun, do you ever give Joe like navigation hints? Like, no, we need to be going this way, not that way.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Although on that last camping trip that we did, I knew exactly where we were going, and I was supposed to be telling them where, but I totally got sidetracked. Like, because the turn we needed to make, there were people down, camping down to the side, and I was looking at their camp and like, oh, how did they get down there and stuff? And then we continued driving on, and I'm like, this is too far. And I'm like, oh, I think we missed it. We had to turn around.
Yep, and that's okay. I'm completely okay with that, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's all about the destination. You're going out camping, so you know what? You can't be too upset by that.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah. So I got this question from my daughter. Last year, she was doing not her senior research paper, but like she had to do a report on community and everything. But she asked, "How has owning a Land Cruiser changed you?"
Oh. How has a Land Cruiser changed? It's kind of changed our family in that want the ability to go out together, right? Nobody ever has to kind of be left out, which is awesome. Um, it's changed our business quite a bit with our focus on the products we're producing and what we want to do. Um, you know, I mean, we've always had something as part of an off-road vehicle as a part of the family for as long as the kids have been, you know, grown for the most part. And so I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we met a bunch of people just from,
Oh,
what happened at the Rebelle. We've met so
Yeah,
many people too, and like we met you before the Rebelle, but it's so yeah, we've just met a whole bunch of new people just
yeah,
by having a Land Cruiser, which is really cool.
silly. Yeah, that's the answer. I mean, just the community it's opened us up to and the friendships we've made because of it, have been amazing. That's been a huge part.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your business, and I think when you were at SEMA, we talked a little bit more about it. But what is Rugged Overland?
Rugged Overland is an e-commerce store. If we could have a brick and mortar, that would be awesome, but that's not in the cards right now anyway. So it's an e-commerce store. Uh, so it was closed for a while. We had it open, and when our youngest was a toddler, and he was so busy with work, and it was just me running the show, and I decided to close it down for a little bit, mainly for being a mom. That was needed to be number one at that time, but not anymore. It sounded funny how I worded that. So anyways, yeah, and so we got down here and there came a time where we're like, maybe we should open that back up. Um, so it's been slow because, I mean, we both still have other full-time jobs. Um, and my job makes me really tired. Like, so I, it's slow. And we're being selective too with what we're offering. So, since we have a Land Cruiser, obviously we've been doing a lot of stuff for Land Cruiser or a focus on that. Um, um, but yeah, we'll have other stuff eventually, but it's just
What are some of the things you offer for Land Cruiser?
uh you. You
Oh,
said you, it's we. Um, so Land Cruiser wise, we carry seats, which are cool. They're Caballo Automotive seats that we helped design a specific, like a bolt-in, easy peasy seat bracket for them to mount to. So it just bolts directly in. Um,
which is huge. And I'm going to emphasize on that a little bit because we looked at off-the-shelf options and they all kind of sucked. For the seat brackets, what you were getting from some of the other players in the market, and they're not small companies either, right? They're these large nationals that weren't really taking pride in what they were doing. So, all the products we're working on, we wanted to solve some sort of problem or do it better than what's out there. And when we did the seat adapter brackets to be able to mount the Caballo seats, we wanted it to be a clean bolt-in that it's something that you would want to see if it was there from the factory, right? And that was
Yeah.
a big deal. So, um, the finish quality was important. The fact that it could bolt in was important, and would be something that we want people to be proud to have in their 80, right?
and I mean, and we run it too. That's another thing that we like to have in the store are things that we use on a daily basis. Like, do we trust the product? Do we use the product?
Yeah.
So we do that. We have the seats in the 80, and I ran those, on this crazy rally. And they're awesome. And I also have them in the Bronco when we run them in the Bronco. Obviously not with the 80 bracket, but the seats.
Yeah.
So I mean, I use and trust those seats, and they're comfortable and they're stylish and all of the above. So that's one product. And then
but also with the seats. So one of the things, and this has been a fun collab with Lee from Solve Function. One of the options with the seat kit now is to get them as a heated seat option. So we worked with Lee to help us do the inserts for our switches, right? For the coin slots. So you can pop those out and our heated seat switches will pop right into place. So we're pretty excited. Those will be added to the website here in the next couple weeks. Yeah, so the seat has been it's been a really fun project and a product we really, really believe in. And that's been nice.
Yeah, my
Also,
my wife here has all the bells and whistles, and heated seats is one of the things that it has. And I never used it to relax my back a little bit. But we're really close to an hour, if not over an hour. So, do you have any final thoughts for us?
oh, as far as final thoughts, I think, with us firing Rugged Overland back up and being able to get the 80 series and then Shelly competing in it, just the biggest thing is open us back up to the community, and how awesome that's been. So many of the people have been so amazing. Getting a chance to meet you at SEMA, and then again at Manafree and everything else, it's just been freaking awesome. And we're looking forward to what's to come.
yeah, totally.
Um,
Maybe the Rebelle with a power 80. I don't know.
Rachelle, just to kind of close out, I wasn't excited about your drama that you were going through with the breakdown of the transmission, but I was more excited to see, because a lot of people talk about the Land Cruiser community as a whole, but to see it coming together on a grand scale, like right in front of me, to somebody that I actually met, and not just, hey, I have an extra whatever for my 40 sitting around here, you can have it. It's the whole community came together to get that transmission across not just a town, but across 2 states to get it to you to run. And I just loved seeing that camaraderie happen in real life to somebody who's such. I mean, you guys are both great people to talk to and everything else. And so I'm sorry that it had to happen, but I'm glad to see that it wasn't a catastrophe. Everything came together. So thank you both for coming on to the podcast, and it was amazing to talk to you guys again. And hopefully we get to go hang out again some other time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Dan.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Later, bye, man.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Classic Land Cruisers podcast. As always, remember to go to reefmonkey.com to get your Classic Land Cruiser podcast merch. Bring your adventure home with inlowgear.com, your source for custom Land Cruiser apparel and merchandise, where adventure becomes art, designed for the road. Again, this episode was brought to you in part by Redline Land Cruisers, Save Your F, by Manafree, your one-stop shop for Land Cruiser parts and service, by Valley Hidebirds and Terrain Tamer North America. As for me, the mountains are calling and I must go.